In Milwaukee, we go back to the Bradley Center and Marv Albert.
All right, thanks, Ernie. Crowd still filing in. They expect a capacity crowd as we check out the McDonald's starting lineups. First, for the Pistons, a backcourt of Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton. Up front, Tayshaun Prince, who has had a solid series. Ben Wallace, who came on, as Mike mentioned, in the second half, 17 of his 21 rebounds in the second half here on Saturday. And Rasheed Wallace, who has been hobbling. End of the season with that foot injury, only 4 of 14 for the field the other night. Here are the Bucks: Damon Jones, Michael Redd at the guards. Up front, Desmond Mason, Joe Smith, and Keith Van Horn back in the starting lineup. Van Horn shooting only 6 for 25 over the first 3 games. Terry Porter hoping for a jump start from Van Horn, who has been playing with that injured right hand.
I think this is probably the key move right here, and I like the move by Terry Porter. He understands that if Milwaukee is to wind up beating Detroit, he must have a major contribution from Keith Van Horn, and he certainly wasn't doing it coming off the bench, shooting just 24%, as you mentioned, in the first 3 games. So maybe putting him in the starting lineup, maybe the matchups here will work in his favor. You can expect Van Horn to be in a lot of pick and rolls, to drag late in transition, look to get behind that 3-point line, and start it off with his perimeter game. Also, he is effective down low. We'll see how effective against Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace.
The officials: Dick Bavetta, Jim Clark, Tony Brothers. And we're ready to go in Game 4 of this best of 7, a matchup of the number 3 seed and the number 6 seed. Bucks control. Damon Jones, who hit 4 from downtown on Saturday afternoon. Here is Keith Van Horn, played by Rasheed Wallace. Open opportunity for Joe Smith.
And you saw Michael Redd immediately willingness to give up the ball. Obviously, they talked about the amount of help that Detroit is coming at Redd with, so he came off the screen, anticipated having 2 defenders on him, threw it right back to his screener for the wide open shot.
Hamilton and Billups got off slowly the other day, came on in the second half. Smith opening up on Wallace. Here is Hamilton for 3. And Horn was able to keep it away from Wallace. Here's Van Horn. And a good play by Rasheed Wallace. It will be Milwaukee ball. Mason will inbound. Here is Mason with the stick. Desmond Mason, in his 4th year out of Oklahoma State, has given the Bucks a 4-0 lead.
You know, Marv, having a big front line that can change and block shots, it's good because it saves easy baskets by your opponents. Sometimes, though, it becomes a factor in your own teammates getting a little bit lazy, and Wallace gets the feed pass on the inside. Sometimes your perimeter players get lazy because they know you're back there and they watch the ball dribble by them. That's what happened the first time for the Bucks.
After that loss to the Bucks at the Palace of Auburn Hills, Larry Brown saying that Ben Wallace must get more touches. We don't care if he shoots the ball, as Michael Redd is able to drill it, but we want him to get the touches. Well, that was the case here the other day, although Ben got an early foul trouble, did most of his damage in the second half.
We can expect that more often, though. Keith Van Horn is guarding Ben Wallace. I'm not sure that they believe that Van Horn is strong enough to handle Ben Wallace in the post area.
Now Ben Wallace out to set the screen. Hamilton. Rebound through the hands of Rasheed Wallace, and Redd pushes it. Jones for 3. Yes. Damon Jones, 4 of 8 from downtown on Saturday afternoon, has just given the Bucks a 9-2 lead.
Had a career playoff high of 14 points on Saturday afternoon. Really had the stroke from downtown with that range. In fact, Porter went with the backcourt of Jones and Brevin Knight for quite a bit there.
Here's Prince. Got the step and set it up for Rasheed Wallace. Tayshaun Prince, who played well The other day, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocked shots, has been a very consistent player for the Pistons over the last month. Bucks with a 9-4 lead. Van Horn with room, and he hits his first shot.
You tell me the last time you saw him that confident, where off the pick and roll situation, they stepped him back, they had emptied out the bottom of the lane area, so it was tough to get to him on a rotation. Keith Van Horn with a big first basket.
Well, Mike, as you know, there's a lot of players who just are not as comfortable coming off the bench, and Van Horn, according to Terry Porter, might be one of those players. He just feels better in the starting lineup. Van Horn trying to save it. 24-second violation on the Pistons. However, Van Horn did have possession momentarily. And Jim Clark over at the official scorer's table. And he says, no, it is not a shot clock violation.
They're going to put time back on the clock, give Detroit the ball on the side out, because I guess they felt that Keith Van Horn had controlled it when he saved it from going out of bounds.
A timeout has been called with 3.5 gone by here in the first. Once again, the Bucks off to the fast start.
The 2004 Western Conference Finals, only on TNT.
Back in Milwaukee, the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT are being brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Sign up for America's Choice Family Share Plan. Verizon Wireless, they never stop working for you. By Van Helsing on May 7th, adventure lives forever. By Wendy's new Chicken Temptations, it's better here. And by K-Swiss. Let's go over to Charles Davis. Charles.
Marv, thanks a lot. You guys, your suspicions have been confirmed. I talked with Keith Van Horn shortly before tip-off, and he said, I'm just much more comfortable starting rather than coming off the bench. That's why he's starting tonight, in addition to Terry Porter's confidence that starting him tonight will help him get kick-started in this series.
All right, Keith Van Horn sprained the middle finger on his shooting hand in the game against New Jersey back in early March. The shot has not been the same since then. Detroit has 23 seconds now on the shot clock. The ruling that Van Horn did have control of the ball. It was a change of possession. Here's Hamilton taking to the rim.
No one stepping up to protect the front of the rim for the Milwaukee Bucks. That's 2 high percentage shots where no one has made a rotation for Milwaukee to try and cut off the driving lane to the basket.
Bucks 11, Pistons 6. Gene Wallace on the box out. Here comes Billups. Prince pass on the 3. Now Van Horn defending on Rasheed Wallace with some help. Hamilton and a nice over-the-head pass by Rasheed.
Yeah, and Ben Wallace had the next defensive player on his back blocked out so they could get no rotation at him.
Red shot rejected.
Probably not a good idea to shoot it into Ben Wallace's hand, Mark.
Billups. And Ben had to be very fast. We know how quickly Michael Red could pull the trigger.
Ben started jumping when Red caught the pass.
Mason wide open, passed on the shot. There's Mason. That's not the shot that he wanted.
And he changed the shot because he saw the 2 big men right in front of him, anticipating they were going to go up and try and block it. You saw him really alter the shot.
Game 3 on Saturday as Rasheed Wallace corks a 3 in game 3. Detroit with 10 blocked shots. The Bucks are certainly affected by that. They are already altering their shots. Here's Van Horn swinging in. Billups with the lob, broken up by Mason. Bucks started off hitting 5 of 6 from the field. Damon Jones knocks it down. They had missed their previous 5 after the good start.
Both teams, you can see the early high energy. Some of the shots they're taking maybe a little bit questionable. That's emotions right now. Billups again with the 3-point attempt, trying to get himself going. It took the first half last game before they finally started finding Detroit back.
An offensive foul is called. Mason called for the charge.
You know, it's amazing how some teams just do it because they practice it all the time. Ben Wallace makes the rotation, takes the contact, goes down, picks up the offensive foul. It becomes instinct because they do it every day in practice. I have yet to see, and this isn't to say the Bucks don't work on it. I'm still waiting for the first Buck to step in, take a charge. And we know that Joe Smith has always been one of those guys that will do it. Haven't done it yet.
Nice pass, Hamilton, for Rasheed Wallace, looking very active here at the start.
Larry Brown talked to us, Marv, about the injury that Rasheed Wallace is playing with right now, that plantar fasciitis, which that takes a while to clear up. I mean, it's a matter of sitting out. You don't get a chance to sit out during playoffs. After the season, that's when it'll get better.
And the Bucks have done a nice job against Rasheed. As a result, we've seen mostly fadeaway jump shots, but not the case here in the first quarter. Bucks lead by 1 as we approach 5 minutes to go in the first. Hamilton with a crossover. Now the Bucks on the run. It's a 4-on-3. Red for 3. Michael Red from downtown.
Milwaukee got 4 players to run hard. One of them diving down the lane, took the defense with him. That opened up the cross-court pass to Red.
Prince, that's a 2-pointer, had a foot on the line. And the Bucks have come out firing from beyond that 3-point line. They were 6 of 21 from downtown in game 3 on Saturday. Another lob attempt broken up. Hamilton on the run. Hamilton leads the 3-on-2 and takes all the way. Richard Hamilton putting the speed on.
See how quick he was that time going from the defensive end rather to the offensive end. Probably the quickest and fastest I've seen Richard Hamilton push the ball in transition.
Game tied at 16. Van Horn for 3. Yes! So Keith Van Horn has hit a couple of jumpers here. At the start, Bucks with a 19-16 lead. Milwaukee 3 of 4 in 3-point shooting. Prince comes off the pick. Hamilton, yes, that's another 3. So both clubs are hitting from downtown.
Good ball movement. The clubs are starting to figure each other out now. They've played 3 full games against each other already, so they understand what's going on as far as the defense trying to take things away and the offense adjusting.
Foul is called as Red began that spin, the block on Hamilton.
Well, as we know, Hamilton has gotten in foul trouble in a couple of these games, which has frustrated him, taking him out of the game as far as minutes go. And here he is off to this quick start, 4 for 7 shooting and 9 points, and he picks up his first foul right there.
Now Brevin Knight, who has been an important player in this series, has checked in. Knight replacing Damon Jones. Mason kicked it out. Red coming up short on that 3-point attempt, but gathered in by Joe Smith. What a play by Smith, getting to the rebound, releasing the shot, and he received the friendly roll.
Tough move that time. Smith secured that rebound well behind the backboard. He had to get himself out from behind it to get a shot at it, get some kind of base underneath him to shoot it, and then got the good roll.
Prince trying to go behind the back, and it cost. The steal by Knight. The lead for Mason. Rejected from behind by Rasheed Wallace. Phillips. And last touch by the Bucks.
That was about as good a defensive play as you're going to see. Great timing by Rasheed Wallace. Good fast break by the Bucks. They're out in front with the ball, but then you encounter a big man like this whose timing is great. Inside hand, no foul. Welcome back. Bucks up 21-19. Let's look at the offensive execution of the Detroit Pistons. Down on the baseline, you'll see the offensive player Richard Hamilton, who's going to come around this double screen and get right to this area, which forces the defense to make a decision. Who's going to help out on Hamilton when he gets to that point? Desmond Mason, who's following Hamilton, stop it right there, is caught behind. He's trailing, trying to catch up. The man who steps up is the big man defensively, Joe Smith, who had been playing Rasheed Wallace. Well, one of these two guys, either Desmond Mason has to drop back in or Joe Smith has to go back, because as soon as Richard Hamilton picks up the dribble, there goes Rasheed cutting down the lane. They must close off that weak side, close it off, make him kick back out rather than make a penetrating pass to the basket.
See layups and dunks, and the Pistons are off and running in that department. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Bucks 21, Pistons 19. Detroit going 54-28 during the regular season, finishing third in the Eastern Conference, actually second best record, but second seed New Jersey because of winning the Atlantic Division title. Pistons won 20 of their last 24 games, and 20 up, 6 down after the trade was made for Rasheed Wallace. On the turnover, it is Milwaukee ball.
Careless entry pass that time. Too low, too close to the feet of the receiver, down the low pass area, turnover.
Rebbe Knight, Michael Redd in the backcourt, Desmond Mason, Keith Van Horn, Joe Smith up front. A series of moves by Mason, and he lost it. There is Phillips being chased by Knight, and Knight goes flying into the photographer's area along the baseline.
Nowhere to go. A lot of fakes, a lot of unders that time for Mason, but Rasheed Wallace held his ground, put his arms up. You wind up turning right back into the man where he started from.
Game is tied at 21. Red, nice move by Michael Redd, able to take it to the basket. Bucks by 2. Milwaukee trying to tie the series at 2. Detroit looking to take it back home with a 3-1 lead. Here's Tayshaun Prince. It's his second field goal. Tayshaun Prince came on in the postseason last year after appearing in only 42 games during the regular season.
A little bit of an oddity where in the last minute and 15 seconds of this first quarter, neither team has shot a free throw attempt yet.
Van Horn. Keith Van Horn off to the good start. 3 of 5 from the field. And the Bucks now lead 25-23. Prince rejected by Van Horn, kept alive by the Pistons. Here is Phillips from downtown.
So it could have been a 2, and instead it winds up being a 3 after the block shot by Van Horn. These teams right now are unconscious from the floor. 63% for Detroit, 55% for Milwaukee.
Pistons by 1. Bottom minute play in the first quarter. Shot clock down to 5. Mason draws the foul. Mason really had nowhere to go, but off the head fake, he was hit by Rasheed Wallace.
A grand total of combined 3 team fouls here in the first quarter for both of these teams.
Yes, it has been a very swift-moving first quarter. Get an all-access look at these NBA playoffs. Tune into the NBA TV playoff show Destination Finals every weeknight at 6 o'clock, only on NBA TV. 24 seconds remaining in the first. Game is tied at 26.
One of the things we notice is that Detroit, whether it be because of foul problems they've had or just the fact that they have a little more respect for Milwaukee's ability to handle the press, it seems like Detroit has somewhat backed off a little bit of the pressure that they had put on Detroit in Milwaukee versus Milwaukee in game 1 when they forced 25 turnovers.
Yes, the turnover total way down here on Saturday afternoon. In fact, it was Detroit committing turnovers, 18 leading to 21 Milwaukee points. Hamilton The excellent shooting continues. Final seconds of the quarter. Here's Red just getting it up for Smith. Good play by Red. He did not have the angle, but he saw Smith was right there. After one, it's the Pistons 28, the Bucks 27. Richard Hamilton, who started slowly here on Saturday, off to the fast start. We'll be back to the Bradley Center in a moment. A look at downtown Milwaukee as we welcome you back to Bradley Center. On to the second quarter with the Pistons leading the Bucks 28-27. A fast-moving, excellent shooting opening quarter. NBA Commissioner David Stern on hand on his playoff tour, picking up those frequent flyer mileage points. And yeah, our guy Steve Kerr, huge favorite wherever we go. And it's Amon Green of the Green Bay Packers.
You know, the biggest difference that I noticed with Steve out doing his own thing right now, we have more room at the table. It's so much more comfortable at the table.
And I know you've been very happy about the fact that you have had more time to be able to get telestrators in. Although you were complaining about Charles Davis the other day, our sideline reporter, who you felt had upstaged you.
I thought Charles had, maybe he's worn out his welcome. I mean,
that is terrible.
Charles has done a great job, by the way.
Let's take a shot at Amon Green now.
No.
Three-time Pro Bowl selection.
Cornhusker.
Second quarter is underway. You went around the arena earlier taking shots at everyone. Even the commissioner was upset with you earlier.
The commissioner was very dapper tonight with his lavender tie on.
Aaron Van Horn.
I think he had the lavender tie because he's in Milwaukee and that's part of their colors.
You think he planned that?
He's very calculated.
When you say very dapper tonight, are you saying under normal circumstances he's not?
Always well dressed. Always well dressed.
Hamilton. Richard Hamilton with 13 points. Pistons 30. The Bucks 27. Bucks have Brevin Knight, Michael Redd at the guards, Keith Van Horn, Desmond Mason, and Brian Skinner now up front. So Skinner coming off the bench here this evening. Knight. Redd with the rebound, and he's turned back. Crown wanted a foul. They call a clean block. Wallace inside. And Wallace with the rebound again. Knocked away by Knight. And Van Horn comes up with it. Mason. Skinner. He thought he was fouled, and he was. Late whistle. Brian Skinner got hit on the elbow, and Larry Brown is not happy.
Well, there's been a lot of physical play under both baskets and not a lot of fouls called. And the crowd sometimes reacting when it's really not the right thing. There were some clean blocks that actually did take place here. When Red goes up, he's jumping backward. You see Rasheed just reach up and knock it out of his hands, and then Red loses his balance. The crowd reacting to that. It's not that it was a foul, it's just that he was off balance and landed on his back.
Foul called on Rasheed Wallace, his second, and he will sit down. He is not happy as he walks by the official Dick Bavetta. Memento Core coming on for Rasheed Wallace. Brian Skinner at the line. Brian Skinner, a guy who grew 8 inches between his freshman year in high school and his freshman year in college. That's my fact for the night. You're looking at me.
Oh, just think there's still hope for me.
I believe you have moved past high school and college age.
No hope for me.
Desmond Mason taking a seat, replaced by Tony Kukoc. Tony had the big game at the Palace of Auburn Hills on game 2, and that's a loose ball foul. It is on Kukoc. Kukoc came off the bench in game 2 and hit 7 of 8 from the field on the quiet side here on Saturday in game 3.
Kukoc, another one of those. There's so many keys we keep talking about. Another one of the keys for the Bucks, because Kukoc gives him the ability to go behind the three-point line. He can put the ball on the floor. He can create matchup problems. He can get down the low post area and pass at it. Very, very smart basketball player.
Hamilton. We are early in the second. Marv Albert with Lazar, Mike Fratello, Charles Davis. 3-point lead for the Pistons. Lindsey Hunter now defending on Brevin Knight. Red trying to shake loose and then fires. Not a good shot. Rebounded by Hunter.
So many of Michael Red's shots look like they're not good shots, but they wind up going in. But that one there, he took a forced shot that time.
Okor getting position. And Larry Brown has to love that. Mehmet Okor has been primarily a perimeter shooter, and they like to see him down low more frequently.
Well, Larry Brown had mentioned to us that he did give him good minutes last game. Skinner taking it to the basket is fouled. So Larry Brown rewards him for coming in last game and giving Larry good minutes when he needed him, when Ben Wallace got in early foul trouble. So they go right back to Okor, immediately play him early in the game and find him in the low post area. And, you know, talking to him before the game, I said, Coach is happy with your performance. He said, that's my job, to come off the bench and try and help this team. He's a big, big free agent for them at the end of this year, along with Rasheed Wallace. Major decision on will they have enough money to keep Okor here.
Now, did he understand you, or you understood Mehmet, who is from Turkey?
I happen to know Mehmet from Turkey when I was over there doing the coach's clinic. I had the opportunity to work with him over there a few years back, so we understood each other.
And despite that, he is here in the NBA.
That's not right.
Pistons 32, Bucks 28. Corliss Williamson has checked in for the first time for Detroit. Hunter and Hamilton now in the backcourt. Ben Wallace gets inside and is fouled. Van Horn went for the block. Foul is called and a timeout is taken. Brevin Knight, Keith Van Horn all over Ben Wallace. Now they say the foul on Knight. 8:50 to go in this first half.
Saturday night, one element to save us all.
Life comes from distortion, disorder, and chaos.
There's nothing that can stop this.
There is only one thing.
The Fifth Element. Saturday night at 10. The new classics are on TNT.
Back in Milwaukee, a look at the Bucks, who went 41-41 in the regular season, finished in the number 6 seed, got off to the terrific start, then set back after the rookie point guard T.J. Ford was sidelined by injury. Terry Porter did an excellent job in his first year as head coach. Terry, a star at Milwaukee's South Division High School. This is vintage South Division High School footage. In fact, the first athlete in the history of the school to have his number retired. Then on to Wisconsin, Stevens Point. More vintage footage as Terry averaged better than 13 a game and shot 59% from the field. Did not become a starter until his senior year. Emerged as a major player, #1 pick of Portland. The Bucks passed on him and drafted Jerry Ice Reynolds out of LSU. Terry, a very disappointed guy, but went on to have an outstanding career with the Blazers, Minnesota, Miami, San Antonio, two-time All-Star.
In fact, when he was in Miami playing under Pat Riley, he kept a notebook the entire time he was there. His own coaching notebook, taking tips from Pat Riley, knowing someday, as we see the finish on the inside by Kukoc, someday he might be able to use those notes.
Pistons now lead 34-30. Hamilton being played now by Eric Strickland. Strickland on the floor for defensive purposes because Milwaukee has not had an answer for Richard Hamilton. Here is Strickland for three. And Skinner ends up with it.
It's a little bit of an unusual combination for us to see Milwaukee with this team out on the floor. We haven't seen this group play together yet. Terry Porter searching to see if he can somehow find a way to shut down the Piston offense and yet still produce enough offense of their own.
Williamson met by the double. Here's Ben Wallace, and he is fouled, pushed by Skinner. So Ben Wallace, who has had his difficulties at the foul line, will shoot a couple. The other day, 3 of 9 at the line, including a very short air ball. And during the regular season, Ben shot only 49% at the line.
Well, I think they wound up giving that foul in the end to Van Horn. And that would be Keith Van Horn's first personal foul.
Meanwhile, Ben Wallace able to hit on his first free throw. Here's Mike James checking in for the first time.
Well, the result of this is that Richard Hamilton got going so well in the beginning of the game that Larry Brown has played him 16 straight minutes. He leaves the floor with 13 points, 6 of 10 shooting. Larry Brown riding the guy who had the hot hand, and now he brings Mike James into the backcourt to join Lindsey Hunter.
Eric Strickland is saying that, see, I came on and they just forced Larry Brown's hand to take Hamilton.
I hope he's thinking that, yeah.
Strickland now being guarded by James. Van Horn. Rebounded by Skinner. Ryan Skinner continues to play very well. He won't necessarily show up on the stat sheet, but Skinner with another rebound and a putback.
Larry Brown upset. He felt that Okor was pushed by Skinner, grabbed and thrown underneath the rim, and that's how he came up with that offensive rebound.
Detroit's lead is 1. Here is Okor again from the low post, rebounded by Van Horn, and he was stripped. Good play by Ben Wallace. And Wallace is fouled.
Wallace going quickly, trying to make Van Horn move his feet, winds up putting the second foul on Keith Van Horn.
Ben Wallace has had a remarkable career. For the 4th time, 1,000 rebounds, along with 100 steals and 100 blocks in a season. Sam Lacey, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Akeem Olajuwon each did it on 3 occasions. And remember when Ben Wallace came into the NBA, the feeling was that he's not a basketball player, he's an athlete. Well, he's become a pretty decent basketball player, along with being a great athlete.
And then, again, named today to the all-defensive team in the NBA.
Joe Smith with the shot. Hunter with the lead. Okor running the floor. Mehmet Okor playing well. Pistons lead 39-34.
Larry Brown just keeps trying to establish that low post game. We've seen him put Okor down there. We've seen him with Ben Wallace down there tonight. So trying to get Milwaukee to have to collapse back on the inside against the bigger, stronger Detroit Pistons, and that will open up his perimeter guys.
Strickland tried to lead Smith. Smith stepped out. So the ball back to the Pistons. Now Rasheed Wallace checks back in. Rasheed sat down after picking up a second foul. Ben Wallace will get a rest. And 7 points, 5 rebounds.
As long as Okor keeps giving him quality minutes, Larry Brown can afford to take one of his 2 big men out, the shot blockers out, rest him, and then bring him back in. Okor gets a nice stretch of minutes on the floor, and then he finishes up with Rasheed and Ben.
Hunter to the crossover. Okor. He was looking to draw the foul on Kukoc. Five and a half to play in this first half. Kukoc Beautiful touch by Tony Kukoc.
McCord went for the steal. He gambled, went to the outside where he thought the pass was going. It wound up giving him an open lane to the basket.
Once again, O'Core setting up down low. Here comes Strickland. James racing back. Strickland. Beautifully done. Strickland to Skinner. The Pistons want to talk it over. Just under 5 remaining. In this first half, Detroit's lead is now 1.
We talked about the gamble for the steal by O'Core, which wound up opening up the lane. Kukoc secures it, takes it right to the basket for the score, and then no one covers the backcourt for Detroit. Let Strickland get out in front. James trying to stop him. The drop off to Skinner.
16, that was May 22nd, 1988. Game 7, Eastern Conference semifinals. Dominique finished with 47 points. That's a 3. Rasheed Wallace from downtown. And Detroit is up 42-38. So Dominique Wilkins is 47, Larry Bird 34. And then the Celtics went on to lose to the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6.
A game that you, as a coach, can never, ever forget. Just an unbelievable performance by Wilkins. He just would not give up. We were down 10 or 12. He got us right back into the thing, tied it up at the end.
Offensive foul on Carlos Williamson.
See Milwaukee trying to get back. Brevin Knight trying to step up and take the offensive foul. Gets his body in front. And Williamson is a big body, so when you're giving yourself up this way, that's a tough shot right there. And then his teammate winds up falling right on top of him. Joe Smith landing on top of Brevin Knight.
Well, Carlos Williamson goes 6'7", 245 pounds. And Brevin Knight, as you know, is listed at 5'10". He's not 5'10". 170. What is he, 5'8", 5'9"?
I think we're the same size, you and I.
No.
5'10".
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, close. What's an inch or two?
I think you dwarf him. Coming up on 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Here is Kukoc for 3. Yes! The quick release by Tony Kukoc to bring the Bucks within 1.
Tony Kukoc looking a little bit like Michael Redd when he cocked that one up there. Got it up quick and let it go quick.
At the start of the telecast, you were talking about the difference from the Milwaukee bench as Williamson is able to hit on the drive. The Bucks bench so proficient in game 2. Not the case here in game 3, but tonight 14 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals already by the Bucks bench.
Well, what's happened is Skinner, who has been moved to the bench group today, as we see the jump shot in the corner by Damon Jones hits another 3, 4 for 8 in the first game from the three-point line, hit one earlier in tonight's game. But Skinner is productive, 7 points in 9 minutes off the bench, and Van Horn has 7 points starting. So actually it's worked out well for Milwaukee in both spots.
Game tied at 44. O'Core lost it, recovered by Williamson. Nice play by Carlos Williamson. Pistons up by 2.
See if the pressure has any effect right now with Brevin Knight out of the game. See if Detroit's pressure forces any turnovers.
Skinner had it knocked away. So there is a turnover. O'Core working on Skinner. Beautiful spin. Oh, what a move by Mehmet O'Core.
Well, he is a big body. I mean, he got himself inside. Nice footwork, spun back to the baseline, and finished it with a dunk. Coaches were clapping that time on Detroit's bench.
6 points for O'Core. Skinner saving it and throws it away. Here's Billups. Hunter. Pistons 48. The Bucks 44.
Remember what we said about the turnovers. Knight went out of the game, looking to see if the turnovers suddenly increase as Detroit picks up its pressure against this group on the floor. The 2 turnovers have both come from Skinner.
Strickland met on the switch by Ben Wallace. Jones getting it down low to Skinner. Shot clock to 4. Skinner is fouled. A timeout called with 1:46 to play in the first half. That foul charge to Williamson.
That's the nice spin move to the baseline. Start like you're going to go middle, spin back, footwork, keep the dribble alive, and finish.
Southwest Airlines game break. Ernie Johnson, Studio A in Atlanta. The Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be without Wally Szczerbiak for at least the rest of the series against the Denver Nuggets. He was hurt in Game 3 Saturday night, took a hard fall, broke 3 bones in his lower back. Stayed in the game and shot free throws, but he will miss the rest of the Denver series. No word on any action thereafter. And that series resumes tomorrow night on TNT. Marv?
All right, thanks, Ernie. Listen. Tough fall to even look at.
I can't think of 3 broken bones in your back. My goodness.
Well, you see the brackets, as Ernie mentioned, tomorrow night, Game 4, Minnesota and Denver. Second of the TNT doubleheader, preceded by the, preceded by, yes, an Eastern game. Coming up next in the second of our doubleheader, it will be Sacramento and Dallas. Kings lead in that series 2-1. Mavericks getting back into it Saturday night with that 25-point win.
Well, I'm wondering if Ernie's headsets are working okay in the studio, because he keeps throwing it back to just you. Maybe he doesn't realize that. Maybe he thinks you're doing the whole game by yourself.
I think that once again, there's some history here between you and Ernie.
Well, he started it tonight. Twice now he's done it. So
Pistons 50 and the Bucks 45. Just under 2 minutes remaining in this first half. Tayshaun Prince is back. Prince with Ben Wallace, Mehmet Okur on the front line. Richard Hamilton and Chauncey Billups have returned. Here's Billups. Wallace. Bucks have a backcourt now, Jones and Red, with Kukoc, Skinner and Smith up front. Kukoc backing his way, finding Smith, stripped from behind, the save by Skinner. Hamilton on the run. The look away to Prince. Beautiful pass.
what a nice job Richard Hamilton did that time of deciding he was going to veer off to the right, not try and force the issue, yet he knew his teammates were coming. That look away pass, he found Prince for the layup.
Kukoc, he hit that shot earlier. Kept alive though by Smith. And the recovery by Kukoc.
And Kukoc did not want to come down and go back up for fear of the block shot, so he kept it up there and laid it back in.
Detroit has hit 6 of their last 7 from the field. Shot clock down to 5. Here is Prince for 3. Final seconds of the half. Smith, yes, at the buzzer. They'll review it, but it appeared that he got it off on time. Joe Smith able to hit the buzzer basket.
Amazing sense of time. You know exactly how much time is left. Get it to your man trailing, and then Joe Smith under control. And this is not a guard pulling up. This is a big man that hits the transition jumper.
So at the half, it's the Pistons 52 of the Bucks 49. Detroit led by Richard Hamilton. It is 18 minutes, 6 of 10, 13 points. Let's go to Charles with Richard Hamilton.
Thanks, Marv. Rip, the way the half ended, was that the shot you guys won and then them coming down and hitting it? What does that mean going into the half?
We wanted to close the court out on a good note. I think that we got the shot that we wanted to shoot. You know, they just got a long out, and made a great shot. You know, we just got to pick it up in the second half.
Chauncey Billups said that you guys came here to get 2 games, not just 1. You're halfway there. What do you have to do in the second half to close out Milwaukee?
Stay aggressive. You know, we can't just change baskets with them. You know, we got to defend for 24 minutes and hopefully come out here with a win.
All right, thanks a lot, Richard. Good luck in the second half. Marv, back to you and the Czar.
Oh, see, that's respect. Thanks, Charles.
Thank you, Charles.
Pistons shoot 56% in the first half, and a quick-moving first half. They lead by 3. Coming up, the Verizon Wireless halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley. Let's go to Ernie.
Good to see Charles Davis sucking up to the Czar. Always like that at the remote. Verizon Wireless halftime report. Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, and Kenny the Jet Smith on a game Milwaukee absolutely has to have, being down 2-1 and being at home, and it's a 52-49 game. The Pistons have the lead. What are you shaking your head about?
I told you this weekend they're not going to win another game. You know what's interesting?
It's not like you're 100% on all your.
I've been 100% the last 3 days. Haven't I?
I doubt it.
Let's go up.
We don't have time to go through
first
it
of all,
all.
this is a very simple game. The only game that Milwaukee won, they changed the tempo. Even though they're close to 50, it's not the same tempo. They cannot beat Detroit playing like that. Unless they make it a helter-skelter game, they don't have enough skilled players in a half-court set to play with Detroit. Detroit got better skilled players. So as long as the game is this slow pace, knock down, drag out, Detroit gonna beat them. And they're gonna finish them off.
How about it, Jet?
Well, Detroit has a clear understanding of what championship basketball is about. You don't have to always stop people. You just have to make them take tough shots. And you put people in a hand in their face, and you get back on transition. Here's a steal. This is great transition defense, because most teams going to get a layup, but they stop and make you play 5-on-5, and that's the difference between Detroit and most of the other teams, with the exception of Indiana in the Eastern Conference. Over here again, Reverend Knight, he beat you baseline, but here's the help. Here's the help. Here's a hand in the face. That's all you can ask for, is hand in the face. That's how you win basketball games here. But one thing about Milwaukee, they do have shooters. Even though with a hand in the face, they can make shots. So they have to kind of, like Charles said, speed the tempo up. But still, even on a made basket, great defense. And you just shake your hand and walk down.
But if you look at all those plays, it was all in a half court. Detroit, they're not going to beat Detroit in a half court. He's talking about they break them down, they getting hands on them. If you're in a half court against Detroit, they're always going to have a hand in your face.
Only one player in double figures in the first half, Rip Hamilton with 13. Also tonight, we have the Sacramento Kings and the Dallas Mavericks. It's game 4 of that series. Dallas at home, won game 3, leading to this little Q&A with Mike Bibby of the Kings.
Has momentum shifted?
Shifted where?
To them.
Why? Because they won 1 game? I'm asking you. You asked me a question, I gotta ask you, right?
Well, yeah, but the
Answer
question
that
was
for me.
directed to you.
I know, but I asked you, I hit you with one.
It could be.
It could be. That's not a straight answer.
So what if I said yes?
That it shifted to them because they won 1 game? And I say you don't need to be doing what you're doing right now.
Probably not exactly the answer he was looking for on the momentum thing. But in this series, Sacramento's offense, they've been under 85 the last 2 games. Hasn't happened all year long. What's up with the Kings' offense?
Well, they don't have that like killer instinct. They just play basketball. They don't have that like, I don't like saying the word, they don't have that hood rat mentality.
Well, you said it.
They don't have that toughness. They just play like Kenny. We were talking about somebody else. We're actually talking about Steve Francis. Steve Francis is a terrific talent, but he just plays basketball. He doesn't really have that killer instinct, and that's not a negative. It is sometimes, but Sacramento and Dallas, they just go out, play, have fun. They don't have like that dirty, they don't have dirty players. The 2 best dirty players, think about it. The 3 dirty players on Sacramento, Anthony Peeler, Bobby Jackson, and Brad Miller. On Dallas, it's the 2 rookies. So, but none of their stars are dirty players, and that's why they're always going to struggle.
And he means dirty in the fact that they don't get loose ball, deflections. Get dirty, and so to speak. But also, I think what happened now, Sacramento has to find that 100-point pace if they want to win this game. I think they're better. I think they are better up-tempo than Dallas is. I think Dallas does have a chance if they go up-tempo, but I think Sacramento's still better at it.
Game 4 in that series coming your way later tonight, right here on TNT. Back with more on the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report in just a minute.
Get dirty.
The Halftime Report is brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
Can you hear me now? Good.
And we welcome you back to the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. With Game 5 against the Rockets coming up Wednesday night on TNT, the Lakers went through a light practice today, about an hour, without Kobe Bryant. He is in Eagle, Colorado for more pretrial hearings in his sexual assault case. And we get the latest from CNN's Gary Tuckman.
There is still no trial date set yet, but one of the most important parts of the legal process is now nearing its conclusion. A hearing taking place here in Eagle, Colorado about Kobe Bryant accuser's sexual history. Bryant's attorneys want to use aspects of her sexual history in a trial, saying that it will show that injuries that she suffered could have come from someone else. They allege that the woman had sex with at least 3 different people over a 72-hour period surrounding her encounter with Kobe Bryant. Prosecutors say, though, it's totally irrelevant to a trial. We can tell you it's expected to last 3 days here. Kobe Bryant will leave Wednesday to fly to Los Angeles for Game 5 of the series against the Rockets. Ernie, back to you.
All right, and guys, the question now, how does this hamper the Lakers' preparation for Game 5? Phil Jackson's talking about it hurting the chemistry of the team and saying this is a time when you go over adjustments and that kind of thing. How much will it hurt?
I don't think it affected at all. I mean, I think he's probably going to play, but if he doesn't play, I think they're still going to end the series. Because I think what happened was once San Antonio won, the Lakers realized now we got to close this team out because it's going to be a heck of a series. And if we give them too much rest, I don't think they're going to beat the Spurs anyway, but we definitely can't beat them.
The whole sense of urgency kind of thing, let's take care of business right now, Kenny?
Well, I don't think it's going to affect the Lakers in terms of, you know, they know what Kobe does. And down the stretch of the games, he's the guy who has the ball in his hands, and you basically go what they call a 1-4 flat, where guys get on the baseline and he's just out front. So the games have come down to who can score down in the last minute and 30 seconds of the game, and Kobe Bryant can do that. So whatever you do to get up to that point doesn't really matter, because in minute 30, you're going to give the ball to him in a 1-4 set and let him make plays.
The Lakers lead the series 3-1 over the Rockets. Game 5 coming your way Wednesday night here on TNT.
A rivalry in the making gets hotter as the series heads back to Hollywood, with the Fab Four up 3-1 and Houston facing elimination. Rockets-Lakers Game 5 Wednesday night 10 p.m. For the Rockets, it's win or go home.
Typical Auburn guy watching TV. Marquise Daniels.
Typical Auburn guy here in the NBA, huh?
Hey, you know what? Second leading scorer on the Mavs in this series.
He's played great. Should have got drafted.
He's watching us, too.
Hey, just another example. NBA general managers don't know what the hell they're doing. Didn't even get drafted. Having a hell of a year.
Yes, 22 in the last game. Well,
the Halftime Report has been brought to you by Verizon Wireless, the official wireless provider of the NBA.
The 2004 NBA playoffs. Coverage continues on TNT.
Welcome back to the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Richard Hamilton leading his Pistons back onto the court. Detroit with a 3-point lead as we head to the second half. Marv Albert with the czar, Mike Fratello. Both clubs shooting exceptionally well in the first half.
Yeah, fast break points wind up going to Detroit, which is unusual because Milwaukee wants to really up the tempo of this game and go up and down. But the Pistons had the transition opportunities. It's been the three-point line that has saved Milwaukee. 5 for 8 from downtown for the Bucks.
All right, let's take a look at tonight's X Factor, and the X Factor is
Richard Hamilton, whose points had been going down from game 1, 2, and 3, 21, 18, 17. Hamilton gets the quick layup. Besides scoring here, 6 for 10 from the floor, he winds up having one of his 5 assists right there by dropping it off to Rasheed Wallace. Then he comes right back again with a little in-between game floater. So 13 points for Richard Hamilton in just 18 minutes of playing time, and he is not in foul trouble, which is good news for Larry Brown and for Richard Hamilton.
Contrast to what took place in game 3. That's our Gatorade X Factor. A look at tonight's Home Depot game summary. We talked about the good shooting. Well, Detroit 22 of 39, 56% from the field, and the Bucks 20 of 42 at 48%, as you mentioned, 5 of 8 from downtown. Bucks bench has done a good job. They've outscored the Piston bench 17 to 12. 16 assists on 22 field goals for Detroit, and 14 assists on 20 field goals for Milwaukee.
I know Milwaukee's shooting 48%, Marv, but think about it. Detroit has 5 blocked shots already here in the first half, so they've blocked X number of field goal attempts. 42-39 advantage for the Bucks as far as field goal attempts go. Neither team really getting to the foul line an extraordinary number of times.
As this third quarter gets underway, let's go over to Charles Davis.
Thank you, Marv. Had a chance to talk with Terry Porter coming out of the half, and he said he was very pleased with his team in the first half in terms of how they attacked the rim. He wants them to continue to do that, get some driving kicks so they continue to knock down the 3-ball. But the number one thing, ball security. Doesn't want the same number of turnovers, led to too many points for the Pistons.
All right, Charles. Damon Jones, the high man for the Bucks. 3 for 3 from the field, 2 from downtown. He has 8 points. Here's Billups over Jones. And the Pistons now lead 54-49.
Well, Charles's point about the turnover is so key. Sometimes a team can have a lot of turnovers, but the opponent is not able to capitalize and score a lot of points off it. That time in the first half, 9 turnovers for Milwaukee, 16 points for Detroit off those turnovers.
Van Horn had it knocked away from behind by Billups. Billups and Hamilton. In the backcourt, Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, and Tayshaun Prince up front. Here's Ben Wallace. Rasheed trying to put it down. Desmond Mason is on the front line with Keith Van Horn, Joe Smith, Damon Jones, Michael Redd. In the backcourt, Michael Redd has been quiet. Jones getting the step. Very deceptive move by Damon Jones.
Larry Brown not real happy that Damon Jones was able to get to the basket that easy. A little upset with the defense of his guard, Chauncey Billups.
Pistons lead by 3. This is game 4 of this best of 7 Eastern Conference Open Ground Series. On a deflection, Milwaukee back in possession. Pistons up 2-1. Game 5 at the Palace Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time, right here on TNT. Here is Redd. Smith able to keep it alive and then take it away by Billups. Michael Redd only 3 of 11.
That's what happens when you keep taking the ball into the basket and you've got the #1 shot blocking team in the NBA in Detroit City there. They alter your shots a little bit higher, a little bit sooner. It's not the same rhythm for you.
Hamilton on a quick release just did beat the shot clock. Rasheed Wallace stepping out on Damon Jones. Here's the mismatch. Van Horn able to take advantage. He had Chauncey Billups defending.
That's a very tough feed pass by Damon Jones because he had picked up his dribble. He was high out in front in a straight line with the postman. He banked on the fact that he could lob it up there and Van Horn could out-jump the smaller opponent.
Detroit's lead is down to 1. And Wallace for Tayshaun Prince. And the Bucks complaining that there should have been a foul on Prince.
On the cut, it's kind of like a give and go, but in the low post area, running a baseline route. And at the end, Ben Wallace turned, his hip went into the defensive player. That's where he was knocked off, and then the late pass for the layup.
Mason spinning his way.
Mason's game is primarily, oh, there's the beautiful feed pass and finish by Prince. I was saying Mason's game is basically out in the open floor, running, getting to the basket. If he's not hitting his jump shot and they stay in the half-court area, his shots are affected by this big Detroit team.
Van Horn. Van Horn getting the look. 5-point Piston lead. The steal by Jones. Red gets the friendly roll.
Unusual that time because Damon Jones has been hot from behind the three-point line. He was wide open, yet he passed it up to get his team's leading scorer a better shot than perhaps he felt he had.
Looked like he didn't feel he was in the rhythm, and he gave it up, and Red was able to knock it down. It's a 3-point game. Phillips has it tipped away by Jones. Shot clock at 3, 2. Phillips going glass. Spectacular shot by Chauncey Billups.
What a tough shot. He's the one who initiated all the contact. He wound up on his back, but he also wound up with the basket.
And Red is fouled.
See Billups move in here right now. He tries to initiate the contact by dipping the shoulder. All he does is knock himself off balance, but he's got such great upper body strength and the ability to concentrate and still make the shot.
Red will put it in play. And now a change on the inbounds. Mason comes over. Shot clock to 5. Here's Smith with a rainbow.
Bucks just scrambling around, trying to find ways to get extra shot opportunities. And how about that rejection by Ben Wallace? That's number 7 in this game.
Rasheed Wallace unable to score. And Smith comes up with it. A lot of contact and a foul. Joe Smith got poked in the eye. Foul on Hamilton. That's his second.
There's the attempt right there. Now, as he picks it up, Joe Smith, he's trapped in the backcourt by 2 Piston players. A lot of contact. Foul was called by Dick Pavetta.
Pistons have a 5-point lead, and Damon Jones, Michael Red trying to go cross court, not able to click with Desmond Mason. So the ball back to the Pistons. Coming up on 6 minutes to play in this third quarter. Phillips reversing himself. And a foul. Rasheed Wallace will head to the line.
Well, last game we saw that at halftime, Billups came out, really asserted himself offensively. They started this half out by running the first play for Chauncey Billups. He makes the jump shot. And now you see him just start to assert himself that much more. Made the little banking floater off the glass. Now this time penetrates and gets his big man these 2 free throw opportunities.
Rasheed Wallace at the line for the first time.
There's only been 1 Piston player that has free throw attempts tonight, with the exception of that one right there, and that's Ben Wallace, who was 5 for 6 from the foul line.
Very few whistles. 6 fouls in all called on the Bucks, 7 on the Pistons. As a result, we have a quick moving ball game. Pistons by 6 to 6:03 remaining in this third quarter. During the regular season, Pistons took 3 of 4 from Milwaukee. The Buck win here at Bradley Center in late December. All 4 games were tight. Rasheed Wallace did not face the Bucks as a member of the Pistons. 7-point Detroit lead. It matches their biggest lead of the game. Van Horn. Mason to the rim. Rejected. Ben Wallace got a piece of it. Prince. Nice lead pass from Billups.
That's what makes Larry Brown happy, the fact that Billups was willing to give himself up to get an easy layup shot for Prince. Billups could have taken the jumper. Instead, he passes it up to wait for the late pass and find Prince coming in on the right-hand side. Beautiful job that time by Billups of directing the traffic. Pull up, shoot, no. Late pass, layup, Prince.
The 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT being brought to you by Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the NBA playoffs and finals. And by Goodyear, remind you to take all of your journeys on the wings of Goodyear. Always nice to be back here in Milwaukee. We've all been made so welcome back in town. And
wait a minute, what is that? They left somebody out.
No, I think they got it right. Let's go to the crew. Let's go over to Charles Davis. Sorry, Zar.
Larry Harris, Terry Porter was hired as your coach after 1 year as an assistant. I know he had a long playing career, but oftentimes you have more of a gestation period. Why did you hire Terry Porter? Obviously, it's paid off.
Well, I knew he was going to get us into the playoffs, in the first year. So, but on a serious note, it was a guy that had played 17 years, brought a lot to the table as a player, had seen everything as far as a player from coming off the bench to starting, being an all-star, playing in the finals. So we hope that all that experience and playing for 5 great coaches throughout his career would translate into his first year, and the success is unbelievable.
You know, in preseason, a lot of prognosticators said your team would be last in the East, but you're the general manager. You had a chance to look at them beforehand. You said this team had a chance to be a playoff team. What led you to that conclusion?
Well, I think first off, just the core of the team that was coming back, and also the addition of Terry and his philosophy, I think, really energized our team early on, winning at home, established ourselves that we would be a contender in the East. And then the East, you always had a chance, to put yourself in a position to be in the playoffs. So I commend the players and Terry for a great effort this year.
You have a father who's got a long history in this league. Do you guys stay in touch, talk a lot? I know he's also getting ready for the Olympics.
Well, he's excited about doing that, but I think he's got more important things going on in Dallas tonight. I know he's watching us. Hopefully we'll get a W, and then they'll leave in their series in Dallas tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, Larry Harris. His father is Del Harris, longtime coach in the NBA. Marv?
All right, Charles, just under 5 remaining in the third quarter. The Pistons with a 64-57 lead. Here is Red, and the tip. Joe Smith on the tip shot. Five-point Piston advantage. Shot clock down to 5. Here is Prince.
He has been very, very consistent. Remember, you go back a year ago, there was some concern. Was he strong enough to go through an entire NBA season, play significant minutes, and then still be ready to play come playoff time and be a contributor? Well, after the first 3 games and up to this point, I think he's kind of answered those questions.
Red eluding Hamilton and leads Van Horn. Smith is rejected.
Another block shot by the Pistons, that one by Prince, so that's either 8 or 9 for the Pistons as far as block shots go this game.
Prince able to get to his own rebound. Three and a half remaining in this third quarter. Pistons have led by as many as 9. It's now a 7-point lead. Wallace, that was a 3-point attempt, just did beat the shot clock.
Well, you've noticed a little bit of the lack of mobility by Rasheed Wallace. He does settle right now for a number of those 3-point attempts, or Larry tries to get him down low occasionally because he's bothered by that foot problem. You can see it.
Foul is called on Hamilton, who's upset. That's number 4 on Richard Hamilton. You recall back in game 2, Hamilton fouled out, was also hit with 2 technical fouls, upset about a couple of the calls.
Hamilton got off to such a great start tonight, Marv. Then since that point, he's kind of like been missing out there. We haven't noticed his presence after the initial great first quarter that he had.
Red way off. Lindsey Hunter has come on for Richard Hamilton. The clock's still alive. That did not hit the rim. Now Dick Pavetta blows the whistle. And I believe they are checking, did it hit the rim or not?
Let's take a look from up on top, and we'll try to figure out whether or not there was contact with the rim. Looks like it missed to me.
And that is the judgment of the crew. So 6 seconds remain on the shot clock. Now down to 3. Damon Jones has to fire and score. Jones from downtown.
He made that shot over the top of Rasheed Wallace, who jumped out, challenged it. He had his arm extended all the way. Just a very difficult shot. They're back in it. The crowd's back in it.
That's the 3rd 3 for Jones, who hit 4 from downtown here on Saturday. Rasheed Wallace with the bucket. It counts, and the foul.
Wallace trying to quiet the crowd, saying to him, "Where are you right now?" He likes the idea that he could quiet him down. You'll see him step underneath. Turn baseline. Instead of going up with the fadeaway, he steps under the defensive man's arm, finger rolls it up and in. He likes it, turns to the crowd, which had just gotten on its feet, and says, "Shh, quiet."
Is that what he said? Here it is, tonight's version. Yes, of Bud Light's idle thoughts in the mind of the Czar.
While I was sitting in Milwaukee on the off day, I was thinking of the history of this franchise. That they have won one NBA championship back in the 70-71 season. That was just their 3rd year in the NBA. You know, back then they were in the Western Conference. They had such great names playing from at that time as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who then was Lou Alcindor at that point, Oscar Robertson, Bobby Dandridge, John McLaughlin, and Greg Smith. That was the starting 5. Their coach, Larry Casello, the assistant coach, Tom Nasulke. Actually, Nasulke, the assistant, was hired before the head coach. There's the banner of that championship team. They were the Western Conference. How about that? And there is one of those starters, John McLaughlin, who does the TV broadcast for the Milwaukee Bucks here locally. Remember some of the other names, Marv, on the roster? Lucius Allen, Bob Boozer. There was a Marv on that roster also, Marv Winkler. He never quite made it to the level that you have, obviously, but Marv Winkler, another great name.
That it?
Gary Freeman.
That's all you have?
McCoy McLemore, remember him?
McCoy McLemore, yes.
Bob Grecian, I know you remember Bob Grecian. Bill Zoff, Jeff Webb. Those guys have rings. Didn't get many minutes, but they have rings.
Is that it?
That's it. You like that one?
2:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. And the Pistons lead it 69-62. Shot clock down to 4. Kukoc going glass.
A floater by Tony Kukoc trying to get this crowd back in it again. Kukoc 5 for 6 from the floor, 11 points.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Bucks need a win to tie the series at 2. A win for Detroit. They reclaim the home court advantage as this series shifts back to the Motor City on Thursday. Here is Phillips. And once again, just did beat the shot clock.
I think Van Horn can't, not Van Horn, I'm sorry, I meant Tony Kukoc can't decide what he's supposed to do offensively. Game 1, 3 for 11. Game 2, 7 for 8 from the floor. Game 3, 1 for 7. Here he is tonight, lighting it up once again, 5 for 6 from the floor. It comes in bunches or it's a drought.
Oh, beautiful pass. Eric Strickland finding Joe Smith. 71-66, Detroit.
Marv, are you surprised that Milwaukee has played Detroit as tough as they have, with the opinion that most people had of the Pistons, the way they finished out the regular season? They have hung basically right in there, other than the second half of game number 1.
I am. Even if this should be a 5-game series, or if Milwaukee is able to extend it, what surprises me most is the fact that we're not seeing as much pressure on the part of Detroit.
Well, part of the answer to that is that the players on the floor, like Kukoc, like Van Horn, skilled enough to dribble or pass ahead of the pressure defense by Detroit. And other than that 25 turnover game number 1, Milwaukee's done a very good job of handling the pressure.
Foul on Tayshaun Prince. Yes, in that first game, the Bucks were just overwhelmed by Detroit's trapping, pressure, defensive style.
25 turnovers, which led to 28 points for the Pistons.
And then the Bucks pull the surprise, winning at the Palace in game 2. Game 3 here on Saturday afternoon, a close game, and then both clubs having difficulty hitting their shots down the stretch. Detroit's scoring taking place at the foul line in the final minutes. It was Bremen Knight who was shaken up earlier in this third quarter, was forced to leave. Returns for Damon Jones. And Jones is 5 for 5 in his 24 minutes. He's hit 3 from downtown. He has 13 points. 71-68 Pistons. 35 seconds left in the third, and they're on their feet here at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee. Mike James handling for Detroit. Prince comes off the screen. Shot clock to 5. James for 3. James from downtown with 17 seconds left in the third.
Mike James, very capable of making three-point shots on a regular basis.
Final seconds of the quarter. Van Horn for 3. Nice box out by Rasheed Wallace. And that is the end of the quarter. After 3, it's the Pistons 74 and the Bucks 68. Tayshaun Prince continues to play well. 14 points, 8 of the 14 coming in this third quarter. Prince overall 7 of 9 from the field. We'll be back here in Milwaukee in a moment. Coming up on 8 p.m. here in Milwaukee. We welcome you back to the Bradley Center. Pistons have a 6-point lead on the Bucks as we head to the fourth quarter. And a man who is familiar with both Milwaukee and Detroit, Hall of Famer Bob Lanier, who had his number retired by both the Pistons and the Bucks, which is most unusual standout player for both franchises. Part of the NBA's Destination Finals Tour. Bob making the rounds, spent 9+ seasons as a member of the Pistons, averaged just under 23 a game, and 5 years with Milwaukee. Bucks winning 5 division titles. Marvin Ham has come on for the first time. The metal core is back. Core is stripped, and last touch by Skinner. So 9 on the shot clock. Pistons 74 and the Bucks 68. Okor with Rasheed Wallace and Ham up front. James and Hunter at the guard. Hunter being played by Knight. Shot clock is down to 3. Rasheed Wallace. Beautiful turnaround by Wallace.
that was a difficult shot. First, he had to secure the basketball on that pass that was almost an errant pass. Knight with the penetration. Another block shot by the Pistons. They're off running once again.
8 block shots by the Pistons. Here's Wallace for 3. Back comes Knight. Knight and Strickland in the backcourt. Here's Strickland from downtown. Wallace with the rebound, and he is fouled. Foul on Ham. It is a non-shooting foul. Terry Porter now has Kukoc, Van Horn, and Skinner up front. Knight blocked by Rasheed Wallace. He thought he was wide open.
He was, but he knew that the big man was going to recover, so he tried to get it up so quickly on the glass that he lost control of the ball.
That's 4 rejections for Rasheed. Wallace, yes. And he has had an excellent game. 16 points, 7 rebounds, and the 4 blocks. So the Pistons have taken a 10-point lead. It's their biggest lead of the night. The call away from the ball. Foul on Ham is second.
See Larry Brown now making the substitution. Rasheed going to the bench. Trainer Mike Abner now over with him right away. So perhaps the foot is bothering him once again after he hit that jump shot. You see him down there working on lacing the sneakers. So Ben Wallace comes back on the floor, replacing Rasheed Wallace.
And we have seen more mobility from Rasheed tonight. Strickland gets inside. He's fouled by Mike James.
Mike James got caught looking away, up too high defensively. A little back cut that time by Strickland. Nice pass by Kukoc.
Eric Strickland at the line. Eric signed as a free agent from Indiana in his 8th year out of Nebraska. He has played only sparingly in the series. Terry Porter went with him earlier when Richard Hamilton was hot. Pistons up by 8.
Little half-court trap. Milwaukee trying it. They wanted to get into it last time. Half the players knew it. The other half didn't know, so they got back out of it quickly.
Well, leads to a turnover, and then Hunter took it right back. Lindsey Hunter with the steal.
Lindsey Hunter's so dangerous when guarding the basketball because he's always got his active hands in there trying to get a piece of it.
Lindsey with the long arms. Will fool the offensive player. He's able to reach in and knock the ball away. Nice pass. Van Horn could not hit.
The intimidation factor of the shot blocking ability of this Piston team. We've seen so many short arm shots tonight, so many quick hurried shots by Milwaukee.
Shot clock to 5. Okor eluding Kukoc. Mehmet Okor with 8 points and a timeout called by the Bucks, and they're hearing the boos from the home crowd.
Well, just when Milwaukee thought that they had secured the ball, come up with a turnover, you see Lindsey Hunter gets his hands in there, steals it right back again, and lays it up for the Pistons.
We can take more chances. You know, we can gamble a little bit because, you know, I tell people, you know, that's the Terror Dome down there. You know, you don't want to get mixed up down there because, you know, them 2 guys do a great job of blocking shots, and with Tayshaun being as long as he is, you know, you got 3 potential shot blockers down there, so you're able to press up on your guys a lot.
Well, the Pistons had 10 block shots. Game 3, 9 and counting here tonight, led by Rasheed Wallace, who has 3. Ben Wallace has 2 of the leading shot blockers in the NBA. Let's check in with Charles Davis.
We have to call him Dr. Czar now. He's exactly right about Rasheed Wallace. He banged the sore foot. It's his left arch. And Arnie Kander, the trainer, said they're just going to let it settle down for a while, but they feel that he can go back in if necessary.
All right, Charles, 11-2 run by Detroit. That will count on the foul. Joe Smith will head to the line. And for the Bucks, their first field goal in 4.5 minutes.
Terry Porter had told us we just need to execute better, and that time Joe Smith able to step through. Mike James just misses, stripping him with the ball. Now Smith the opportunity to complete the three-point play.
Pistons with their 4th team foul. Bucks do not have any. Pistons 82 and the Bucks 73. Light pressure being shown by Milwaukee. Larry Brown going with the backcourt of Hunter and James. He has Ben Wallace up front with Okor and Williamson. Williamson taking position on the post and called for the offensive foul. Basket will not count.
Larry Brown is saying Dick Pavetta is right down on the baseline in front of the play. He didn't call it. Asking Jim Clark, why would you call it way out there? And as you see, Corliss Williamson turning in, the left shoulder hits the defensive man. I think it was a pretty good acting job, actually, by the defender going down.
Mason. Detroit's lead is down to 7. And the crowd is back into it. Williamson. Looked like the Pistons wanted a timeout. And apparently they get it. Play was called before that driving attempt.
Larry Brown was calling for the timeout when the ball was in the backcourt. The players on the right side of the court did not see it. They kept playing, but on the other side, Lindsey Hunter gave the signal right in the official's face.
The 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT is brought to you by Hyundai. Visit NBA.com and enter to win a new Hyundai Santa Fe. By Rocky Mountain Cold Coors Light, cold down easy. By La Maselette, the official athlete's foot treatment of the NBA. And by NikeBasketball.com. Let's take a look at what is coming up on TNT.
My money, yes or no?
No. Drama isn't how you make your money. It's how far you'll go to get it back.
You are crazy.
See Mel Gibson in Payback. Saturday night at 8. One of the Saturday night new classics on TNT.
4 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter. And the Pistons with an 82-75 lead. Detroit had an 11-2 run going. Milwaukee had not hit a field goal in 4.5 minutes. Now we're seeing some signs from the Bucks.
Yeah, and Larry Brown felt that the tide kind of has shifted here. Richard Hamilton shooting the wide open three-pointer. So Larry Brown said enough of the group on the floor with Hunter, Okor, James, Williamson. Took them out, put his starters back on the floor. Hamilton responds with a three-pointer right away. Larry felt that the momentum had shifted in Milwaukee's favor.
Richard Hamilton and the hot hand early. Here's Mason going at Prince. Shot clock to 5. Knight throwing it out. Down to 1 on the clock, and it's thrown away.
Tony Kukoc penetrating into the heart of the Detroit defense, and then as Smith was stepping out, Tony threw it where he was, but he wasn't there any longer.
Shane Wallace back on the floor, feeling for Joe Smith. Wallace is fouled by Smith. Now Damon Jones, who has shot very well, getting set. Check back in. Rasheed Wallace 3 for 3 at the line. Jones coming on for Knight. Coming up next here on TNT, Game 4 between the Kings and the Mavericks. Tomorrow night here on TNT, it's the Hornets hosting the Heat. Game 4 of their series, followed by Game 4 between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Coverage starting at 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then Wednesday night on TNT, Rockets and the Lakers. Game 5 of their series. Coverage starting 10 o'clock Eastern time. Terrific game yesterday in Houston, won by the Lakers in overtime.
Heartbreaking loss for Jeff Van Gundy and his Houston team, leading by 4 points there. Some spectacular plays in the end by Kobe Bryant for the Lakers.
Pistons now lead at 87-75. Here is Red, rejected. A battle between Smith and Wallace, and it's called a jump ball. Ben Wallace thought he was fouled.
See the drive taking place, and as he is turning the corner, Michael Red encounters Ben Wallace. As Wallace blocks it, secures it. He felt that left hand on the head might have been considered a foul, but the officials did not, so they'll just have to get in there and win a jump ball. Well, I'm sorry, to show you the number of free throw attempts, you're talking about how few they have shot today. You've got Detroit right now shooting an outstanding 10 for 11 from the floor. They normally shoot over 25 foul shots a game. They've got just 11 with 6.5 minutes remaining in the game.
And apparently there's a problem with the clock. Nick Pivetta, Jim Clark, over to check it out. There you see the free throws. 8 on the shot clock. Controlled by Red. Red lost it. Here's Billups. And he pulls it back. Finds Hamilton. Nice play by Chauncey Billups.
Got the pass by Ben Wallace at the end. Beautiful drop-off pass by Wallace at the end, knowing he had one more blue shirt coming in, running hard on the break.
And a delay of game called on the Pistons. A second delay of game means a technical foul. 7-0 run here by Detroit. So they bounce right back after the Bucks were showing some signs. And the Pistons now lead at 89-75.
Well, you've got to credit the head coach, Larry Brown, for having the field, knowing at what time he had had enough with the group that was on the floor. Felt that the game had turned to a very dangerous point. You got to start us back in. Sometimes you sit the starters too long, they don't respond. This group has responded.
Just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth. Ben Wallace is rejected. And it carried out of bounds. It'll be Piston ball with 3 on the clock. 3 seconds on the 24.
Milwaukee generally zones the out of bounds under the basket. We'll see if Detroit dives someone down the middle of the lane.
Phillips will throw in. Rasheed Wallace. Here comes Red. It counts, and the foul. It's been a quiet night for Michael Red. Only 5 of 17 from the field, but he hits and he'll go to the line.
And he had Tony Kukoc sitting on the other side of the lane. There's Kukoc in the white jersey waiting for the pass, but Red decides he's going to take it himself. The foul and the fortunate roll.
Foul committed by Prince, his 3rd. Michael Red, an excellent free throw shooter, not able to complete the 3-point play. 12-point Piston lead.
Well, there were missed free throws from Milwaukee down the stretch of the last game as well, as you remember. When they closed in, they went to the line, missed some big opportunities.
Only 4 of 8 in the final minutes on Saturday in Game 3. Rasheed Wallace with the shot clock running down, rebounded by Jones. Jones with the lead from Mason.
How many times do you see a 40-foot lead lob pass executed as well as that? Not very often. This is a perfect pass, a perfect timing, and a great finish in the end by Mason.
So Damon Jones, 5 for 5 from the field, also has 9 assists.
Look, I mean, he is just about over the half-court line when he releases the ball. He's just crossing over the line. Look at the length of that pass and how accurate it is. Timing, great confidence in one another. Damon Jones to Mason for the great finish at the end in transition for the Bucks.
22nd timeout is called with 5 minutes to play. In this fourth quarter, the Bucks try to tie this series at 2. Detroit looking to take a 3-1 lead. And teams that have been down 3-1 in the history of the NBA usually do not come back. Only 7 teams have managed to come back to win the series. Detroit last year trailed Orlando 3-1 and came back, won 3 in a row to take the series. Pistons then knocked off the 76ers in 6. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, they were swept by the Nets. Prince is open for 3. Rebounded by Smith. Kukoc. Yes. The Detroit lead is 8, just under 5 to play in the fourth. Kukoc has hit 6 of 8 from the floor. Rasheed Wallace working on Joe Smith. Down to 3 on the 24. And a foul is called against the Bucks.
Crowd gets into it. The defense gets down in their stance, and they tend to move their feet a little bit quicker. They guard a little bit harder. And that foul right there, not what Terry Porter and his team needed. That type of touch foul on the dribble penetration by Chauncey Billups.
Foul on Michael Redd.
Billups takes off. Redd trying to stick that left arm in to hold him off. A little bit too much grabbing, not enough moving his feet. It was a good call by the official.
Billups an 88% free throw shooter. So Chauncey Billups knocks down both. Pistons back to a 10-point lead. Damon Jones played very tightly by Chauncey Billups. Here's Redd getting inside. Mason with the tip will not count. Foul before the shot attempt. Pistons are over the foul limit. It's on Prince. That's his 4th.
You can see that Detroit right now has told Rasheed Wallace, do not leave Keith Van Horn when they come and play pick and roll. It's up to the guard to get over the top of the screen on his own. They don't want Van Horn rolling back behind the three-point line for a three-point shot.
Michael Redd, an 87% free throw shooter. Michael Redd had a breakout season, his 4th year out of Ohio State, and had his difficulties at the line. Bucks at 10 of 16. 91-82 Pistons. Just under 4 to go in this fourth quarter. Hamilton able to work his way inside and taking a beautiful pass.
From the offside, Hamilton saw that the defender had turned his head. Damon Jones turned around and looked at his teammates as if to say, who's covering that? But wide open for the cut.
Foul is called once again. A reach-in against Detroit as Damon Jones tried to take it to the rim, and Larry Brown is upset. Foul is on Billups.
What had happened was Jim Clark had made the call, turned to the table. Larry Brown had come out onto the floor. As Jim Clark turned around, he put his hand on Larry Brown and asked Larry to move back off the court. That's what started that little confrontation right there. Here's where he asked Larry to please get off the floor. Larry took a little bit of offense to that right there, looking down at the arm. Yes, not a big thing.
He said, don't touch me.
Not a big thing.
And now Dick Pavetta blows the whistle after Jones hit on both. And again, pointing up at the clock. And apparently the shot clock was not operating.
Mark, if a coach steps across the sideline, is out on the floor, the official has every right to hit him with a technical foul at that point. So Jim Clark assisting Larry Brown to get behind the sideline.
So you're saying that Jim Clark was very compassionate?
He was very compassionate. Just try to give an assist to the coach. The coach didn't lose any money with the technical.
93-84 Pistons. Hamilton this time changed his mind as he's met by Smith. Joe Smith staying with Richard Hamilton. Here's Phillips. Hamilton was wide open, was looking for the ball, and Phillips forced. 3 minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Here's Red. Smith. It's a 7-point Piston lead. Down to 7 with 2:45 remaining in the fourth.
Well, there's still plenty of time here for Milwaukee. They just need to make sure they get some stops and don't put Detroit on the line. The Pistons 12 for 13 from the free throw line.
Hamilton for Rasheed Wallace. What a beautiful pass play, well read by both guys.
And Larry Brown said that the turning point to this season, he felt, was when Chauncey Billups and Richard Hamilton were willing to sacrifice the number of shots that they got to get other people involved. And there we see Damon Jones with the 2-pointer that time.
Jones is 6 for 6 from the field. Coming up on 2 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. 95-88 Detroit.
Just trying to run the clock down, trying to get that thing all the way down inside of 5 before they take a shot.
It is down to 3. Prince from downtown. Tayshaun Prince hits the 3, and the Pistons lead by 10. Smith. Nice fadeaway shot by Joe Smith. He has 17 points. 8-point Piston lead coming up on 1.5 minutes remaining.
They go into the little half-court trap, Milwaukee, hoping to get a turnover, but it's a soft trap. Once the Pistons break it, they throw it back down, and then they're running clock.
Here's Hamilton. Last touched by the Pistons. So Milwaukee gets it back. But first, a timeout called by Detroit.
You can't ask for much more than your team understanding with the lead, run the clock down. The ball goes over to Tayshaun Prince. He's got it down in 3 seconds on the 24-second clock, and he hits a 3.
Southwest Airlines game break. Ernie Johnson, Studio A in Atlanta. Vlade Divac and the Sacramento Kings lead the series against Dallas 2-1 with Game 4 coming up. Dirk Nowitzki averaging 27 points in the series. He and the Mavs trying to tie things up in Game 2 of our doubleheader. Let's go back to Marv Albert and the guy who works with him.
Thank you, Ernie. And the Sacramento Kings are looking for a bounce-back game from Peja Stojakovic, only 2 of 9 on Saturday night. Sacramento lost the last 4 postseason games in Dallas. Mavericks trying to tie that series at 2.
We have an 8-point game right now. Depending on what Milwaukee does, they have a foul to give. As Red goes in, it's rejected. Pistons possession. So remember, they've got to foul if they're eventually going to stop the clock somehow. There's the first foul. That just gets them into the bonus situation on the next one.
Down to 1:12 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Here goes Red to the basket. There's that Piston defense again. Ben Wallace coming over to reject it.
And now Ben Wallace remains on the floor, but far from the basketball. Hamilton is is fouled. They want the ball in the hands of Richard Hamilton.
Nothing personal, Ben, but you always will be as far away as you can be from the ball right now. And that's because of Wallace's problems at the free throw line, struggling to make a free throw.
Hamilton at 87% free throw shooter on the line for the first time tonight. Pistons are 13 of 14 at the line.
We talk about Ben Wallace and his struggles at the free throw line. During the course of the regular season, Ben Wallace shooting, well, right around the 50% mark, basically below the 50% mark. But 5 for 6 tonight from the foul line.
Bucks take a timeout, so they are down to one full timeout and a 20. 109 remaining in the fourth. Back at the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, Marv Albert, the czar, Mike Fratello, Charles Davis. 1:09 left in this fourth quarter, and the Pistons up by 10 points.
Let's stop the czar from now on.
Yes, I heard that tag.
I would think that we would see Milwaukee come out now and looking to try and get shots up from the three-point line, down 10 points, immediately going to a press. If the ball should happen to hit Ben Wallace's hands, they will foul immediately. But when you're down the number of points they are, they may have no choice as to who they have to foul.
Bucks will look for a quick shot. Kukoc will throw in. Michael Redd has not had his usual touch. Tried to do it off the drive and kicked it out of bounds.
Well, that's Richard Hamilton, who got a hand in there, slapped it down, and knocked it off of Redd's leg.
Now Prince looking to inbound. Can't find anybody. They do have timeouts remaining, and Tayshaun Prince takes a timeout. So Detroit now down to one timeout left.
Sometimes if you break too soon, you leave before the official hands the ball over. That's a problem.
Another Southwest game break to remind you that Game 2 of our doubleheader is on the way. Michael Finley and the Dallas Mavericks looking for the equalizer at home against Mike Bibby and the Sacramento Kings. Sac leads it 2-1. Game 4 just around the bend here on TNT. Back to Marv.
Thank you, Ernie. Well, the Bucks able to cut this lead down to 7 on 3 occasions. No closer. Pistons with the ball up by 10. And we are down to 1:01 remaining as another foul is called. Damon Jones hit the floor hard.
You see Damon Jones grabbing the back of his head that can jump the ball real hard. Billups trying to protect the ball, trying to split the trap. As Jones goes back, you can see him hit the back of his head that time, but that's what he was grabbing. Could have just been one of those elbows of Billups hit him on the side of his head.
Damon Jones, a former member of the Pistons, a guy who has made the rounds. The Bucks' 8th NBA team in 6 years. Damon walking over toward the Milwaukee bench, and he will depart, replaced by Brevin Knight. It's been a rough evening physically for both guards, Brevin Knight, Damon Jones. Meanwhile, the Pistons have hit their last 12 free throws. Terry Porter using a full timeout, so he is down to a 20. Pistons by 12. We'll be right back. Timeouts remaining. Pistons have a full. The Bucks have a 20. Detroit 102 and Milwaukee 90. The Pistons on the verge of taking a 3-1 lead back home to the Palace of Auburn Hills. We'll have that for you here on TNT Thursday night, 8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Terry Porter had been pleased for the most part in the series with his team's defense. Detroit averaging 97 points, but a lot of those came in that blowout first victory. But here again, the Pistons over the 100 mark, 102 points for Detroit.
And the Bucks turn it over. Again, a foul given by the Bucks. Down to 49 seconds remaining. Detroit won that opening game in a blowout. Milwaukee came back with the surprise at the Palace this past Saturday afternoon. Detroit with a 10-point victory. And on their way to the win tonight, leading up to Game 5 back in Detroit. And the New Jersey Nets waiting in the wings. They do not want to wait too long. It could be between 6 and 12 days if this series would go 7.
Well, that would be way too long. You sit out, you're getting a rhythm the way they are right now, playing against the Knicks, closing that series out. Then your players want to keep on playing, and as a coach, you have to be creative to try and keep them sharp. But it's very difficult to do.
Strickland with the step, so Prince step away, did not want to commit a foul. And now Mason is called for the hack, so the Pistons head back to the line. This is not pretty to watch. Last minute and a half with fouls being given.
The winner of this series versus New Jersey would be a very interesting series if it were to be Detroit, because of the contrast in styles between the two teams. And we saw earlier in the season during a regular season game when Jason Kidd was really hobbled and Kenyon Martin had the bad ankle. This Piston team took the Nets apart in that game. Basically could not get the ball up over the half-court line.
Both Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin played brilliantly in the 4-game sweep over the Knicks. Help from Richard Jefferson and the rest of the crew. Strickland rebounded by Ben Wallace. And Lindsey Hunter looks to walk it up. We're down to 20 seconds. And I guess Terry Porter has told his guys that's enough. We don't have to foul anymore.
But they are going to have to shoot the ball one more time because of the 24-second clock.
Here's Hamilton, was reluctant to shoot and hits from downtown. Kind of shrugged his shoulders. That will do it. The Pistons with a 109-92 win to take a 3-1 lead in this best of 7. Hamilton with 27 on 10 of 17 from the field. Rasheed Wallace, strong game, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks. Tayshaun Prince, 8 of 11. He had 17. Chauncey Billups with 19, and Ben Wallace, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 4 block shots, 5 assists. The high point men for the Bucks, Joe Smith, Damon Jones, each with 17. Jones also had 10 assists. He was 6 of 6 from the field. Tony Kukoc had 15 points. Let's go to Charles Davis with Tayshaun Prince.
Thanks, Marv. Tayshaun, last year you guys were down 3-1. Tough position, but here you came and got 2 on the road. What was the mindset after the Game 2 loss?
Our mindset obviously was to come in here and play very aggressive. Game 3, they really came out strong, and we had to dig back and try to get the win, which we did. But at the same time, tonight, we didn't want them to try to start off like they started in Game 3. They made a little run early, but we was able to respond quickly.
Have you guys talked about the ability to close out ball games? Milwaukee's made runs at you in your last 2 wins, but both times you guys have come back and squelched their rallies.
Definitely Milwaukee is a great basketball team, and they really made us respond well in the 4th quarter, and I think that's something that we need going into the next round.
All right, Tayshaun, thanks a lot. Getting ready for the next one. Marv, Czar, back to you.
All right, thanks, Charles. It has been a terrific series for Tayshaun Prince. Pistons shoot 57% from the field to win at 109-92. Thanks to our producer, Scooter Bertino, director Renato Lowe, and our statistician, Brian Taylor. Coming up next, Game 4 between the Kings and the Mavericks. For the Czar, Mike Fratello. For Charles Davis, Marv Albert saying good night from Milwaukee. There will be post-game reaction throughout the evening from our studios in Atlanta. You've been watching the 2004 NBA playoffs on TNT, the exclusive home of the Western Conference Finals.